nos musiciens, notre show des chez voisins.
Le chat était au grenier, a troublé la société, a payé l'emploi, c'est la livette des trompettes, il y en aura.
Et l'emploi, c'est la livette des trompettes, il y en aura.
So I'm up here, I'm both stunned. I've had a lot of plans on how this is going to go. None of my friends are cooperating with me. Here's the best thing, right? Is this the idea, like the seed, right? How many seeds we have here? Huh? It's catching on. Okay, this is part of the experiment. Well, I thank you all for being here. What's supposed to happen now is that Marion Holmes, one of my grad students, is supposed to run up here, grab the mic, and say that Beyonce had one of the best videos ever. I thought this was great. This is really gonna make it. But then she just informed me about an hour ago that I should just graciously accept an award. So it's difficult. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love getting awards for the first minute or so, and then after that it's like, oh, there's so many people, especially in this crowd, that I just instantly think of that are people I look up to and admire and just feel are so deserving. So it feels silly sometimes to be singled out, but I do really feel honored, and I guess I'm just going to try to be gracious and do this. So I have a few things I'd like to say in the points, and as Ann Morris was up here, that was beautiful, Ann, I was thinking, oh, my stuff's all about me. She's that was great to think about inspiring other people. Well, let me get on with me. And this first one is just an observation, I think, that came to me I went to the National Orientation Directors Association conference last year. It was in Boston, Massachusetts. All these orientation directors and people that work with orientation across the country. And the keynote speaker was there. There's probably about 500 people in the crowd. And the keynote speaker says, I would like to, she talks about, it was Dr. Betty Siegel. She's a president of one of the Georgia state colleges, and she says, I'm a first generation college student, which I myself am. I'm very proudly first generation college student. And she said, how many out there of you are first generation college students? And I sort of proudly raise my hand, and I look around for what should be the other 10 or 15%, and about 80% of the room raises their hand. And I think, that's disproportionate. And I thought, oh, maybe I'm just really working on my own issues here, you know? Maybe this is kind of the, So I think it's interesting that, you know, I do have a passion for orientation programs, and I think that it's, you know, who knows? Maybe that's just part of my background, and understanding how important orientation can be to people who maybe don't understand the culture, and maybe don't maybe want that information or need that information. And I know it's always been very helpful for me. I've always leaned on others to try to navigate some of the strange things in higher education, and it only gets stronger as you get further along. So. I sort of talk about in my little bio there about inventing adventure therapy. That was you know, something I did at 19 years old, and then you know, that was after meeting Carl Ronke, and I had Carl Ronke as my first ropes course instructor. It was great. Went off the pamper pole on Gold Line. Anyone ever done that before? Yeah. Okay, so I think Gold Line was banned the next year. I don't know, but I you know, had this great course with Carl, and I just said, this stuff is great. I am going to, I have this great idea. I'm a psychology major. I'm going to invent this adventure therapy stuff. It's going to be great. Actually, I called it active therapy. It was a little less of a term, I think. But I really thought this was my idea. I really thought this was, and this is great. And it was really researching that idea that led me, people sort of said, you got to talk to this guy, Mike Gass, and that's what led me to Mike's office eventually. And I knocked on his door, I want to talk to you about this great idea I have. And Mike was very gracious, and he sort of gave me the good news and the bad news, and it was just really, but I have to say, like, so, I was very excited actually at the time, like, wow, other people have been thinking about this, and this is a good fit. But the one thing I just want to say though is that Mike, like, it's like one of those moments that I never thought at the moment that was going to be life-changing. I never thought that I'd met my mentor, or someone that was going to really, like, mean so much to me. So, and I didn't know that for a long time, but just slowly over the years, it's been this huge impact. And I really thank you, Mike. I'm getting verklempt. I'm gonna be the first one to cry up here.
Already there.
I just want just two more things. I want to say that as far as outdoor orientation programs go, and it's I think sometimes these programs, because they're spread out and it's so many different places, and they're not really unified as much as we're trying to do with OOPS, we don't realize, like, what a big part of outdoor education this is. And if you think about it, we crunch the numbers, like this past fall, over 10,000 students, and that's a conservative estimate. I know at least in 2006 it was 15,000 students, went on an outdoor orientation experience somewhere in the United States. And that's not including Canada, and that's not counting two-year schools. So you figure that the vast number, that's about 3,000 staff members. And if you compare that to Outward Bound or Knowles, we're similar sized to those organizations and the kind of numbers that we're creating. So I think it's a very worthy place for people to be researching and working with, and I think it's great to have such a great fit here at AEE. So with that, really, I thank all the wonderful colleagues, and Rick and Jess and Todd and the people that work with these outdoor orientation programs. Andrew Gillings is supposed to be dressed as a swine flu somewhere here today, but he's here. But it's I really and I think I know that from my research it makes a big difference to students. So I'm really glad about that. And the last thing I want to leave you with is I want to take this moment, like everyone should, to tell how much I love my wife publicly. And my wife came here, and she is awesome. All right. And so I feel the same way. There's a lot of awesome people at AE, a lot of people that I've sort of grown up with since I started going to conferences as a college student, and so it's nice to have, like, this really awesome person, my wife Beth, with the really awesome people that I know in this room, and I hope you guys can meet each other. I like to say that my proudest moment is to be the winner of the Who Gets to Marry Beth Podier contest, and that's really it's really great. Thank you, Beth, for coming up to share this with me, and thank you all.